back to the healing table. This morning we are having breakfast. As you can see, we have some fruits on the table.
Woo, woo.
In fact, we have kose as well, my favorite. Um, we thought we'd touch on a few more things. My sauce is not on. It's on. We thought we'd touch on a few more things today. So, Robin would like to ask a few questions, and then we start the conversation from there.
Ooh, fantastic. Miles, first of all, thank you for having me at the River Camp Oasis. This is truly magical. Every single time in a new way.
Always a pleasure.
So you told me that you started these healing table conversations
Mm-hmm.
just in the past few months,
Yes,
right?
maybe let's say 6 months, 4 5 months, pretty much.
Can you tell me about how it started and why you are doing it and how it relates to your own journey through healing?
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking and giving me this opportunity to talk about this because most of the time I'm the one who's behind the camera. I'm the one who's asking the questions. So it's very good for people to understand the history behind how we got here and why we are doing this. Um, First off, there was a time that I felt like there's so much experience that we share around this table when I have guests, friends, family. We are always talking about something. We're always talking about experience, health issues, and all that stuff. So I said, why don't I capture this so that I can also share with the rest of my, let's say, the previous guests and other um, potential guests that may come in the future, and even other people who might benefit from it. So um, then I started thinking about it and see how it is. So I started looking at camera and all that stuff. Got advice from few of our previous guests like Carol and others. Then one time we were at the table. I think it was lunchtime, and I had a guest come here. But the name has escaped me. It was Alphonse, and can't remember the name. Um, she's the owner of Africa Skincare. I still can't remember the name. So they were here and we were looking at trying to drink blue tea for the afternoon. So I put it together. I explained to them how it works. You know, the blue tea and the flowers and the the lemon changing it to purple and all that stuff. And then she said, "Miles, this is the healing table, you know." So then I said, "Yeah, Miles at the healing table with blue tea." And then that is how the name came about. So then we are talking about health issues. We are talking about men's health. We are talking about women's health. We are talking about mental health. Um, so that is how it started. Then over time, another guest comes and we are sitting. We are talking around the table, the medicine table. Then someone said, "Hey, these are mushroom chairs." So then it became medicine table with the mushroom chairs. And since then, we've been talking about health issues, you know. So, how the blue tea has been very good for me in terms of some pain, joint pains I used to have, like knee pain, that seems to have been cleared by blue tea. Um, that was one. And then other things, other herbs, other things that we take that helps with our health issues. So that was one side of it. So now we are talking about health issues, but then we talk about emotional issues, we talk about spiritual issues, and depending on the guest, we talk about all kinds of stuff around the table. So yeah, to answer your question, it just happened by accident, and the fact that I also felt we need to share things here. Um, I'm a believer in sharing. I don't like keeping things to myself. If I see something I feel like others should also know about, I really want to share. And you can even see this reflect in our IG quite a bit. No, we post quite a bit because at times we see things here that we feel like this should be out for the rest of the world to see. So that's what it is.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because I find that river camp is a whole experience. It's not just a place to sleep and eat.
Right.
It's a place for connection and self-discovery and spiritual awareness. Whether or not you personally have a spiritual practice, I feel like you bring your awareness to then whatever comes out of us. And I want to ask about how you see even the healing table conversations or Mangoase as a place, river camp as a place to be part of this maybe cosmic alignment. You talk a lot about energy
Yeah.
that you are tapping into or following.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something special here. It be the water, land, but there's something special here that I think brings us all together. And I don't think anyone here, any of my guests, has been here by accident. I believe there's always something that pulls us together. And that reflects in our conversations, including this healing table thing. I have had episodes, I'll just say episodes, I'll leave it like that, that at times have pointed me to stuff like this, where I feel like I have, and when we've discussed some of them with you, I mentioned this, I don't even want to call it dream, this revelation I got that also I felt like triggered me to want to do this more. Because at some point when, oh, hold on. So, yeah, the radio is just not from why. And I mean, you must uncle from Kakra. So, at some point in time, I get the cameras and all the setup for my recording. And I don't want to call it podcast because this is so unscripted and unfiltered. We just conversation. The whole idea is to pick conversations up without prepping or you know. So I get the cameras, I get everything, and I'm still not like ready to turn it on. I'm like, I have it, but this thing I was talking about that I saw and I felt like, hey, and I also told you that Rosita mentioned that Miles, I think you're done or you've gone through your healing process and it's time for you to heal others. I felt like now I have to turn on the camera and also share the experiences. What I'm learning from you, from my guests, friends and family, helps me to share it with others in a way that help them also make right choices, right decisions, help them emotionally, spiritually, and all that stuff. So that was pretty much what pushed me to get this thing, going and made sure the energies that is around here is also pulled into it to make it count, you know. And here we are. Here we are. I mean, we are talking about big things. You are not sitting here by accident. We have future plans for this area, and we believe it's not all coincidence. That the fact that Robin is even at the table today, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of energy around this place, a lot of positive energy around this place. And when you come here and you go home, you go back, I'm sure you go rejuvenated, um, re-energized, and refreshed. Um, and that's exactly what this place is all about.
Yeah, beautiful. The first time I stayed here with Okanta and we played your Bob and UK cards,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it was me or you or one of us came up with the question, what is spirituality to you?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that has so much guided our conversations and my experience here. And I didn't grow up with a spiritual practice,
Mm-hmm.
or at least a conscious one. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up in New York City with a very materialist understanding of
Yeah.
reality. It's like the world is what you see and what you
Mm-hmm.
can touch.
Yeah.
But living in Ghana all these years, like almost 15 years, both the way the people, my friends, the people around me see things, and what I came to experience here kind of attuned me to what I experience as like a greater cosmic force or flow
Mm-hmm.
that I find myself falling within.
Okay.
And I love conversations with you because I feel like you are also aware of that and flow with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so much part of the magic of this place. Like, you allow what is naturally here to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also something that I try to do with art and with curating.
Okay.
Because you've been asking about how I relate to one of my models is called curating as a healer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Curating like a healer. And I tried it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Spent some time learning from healers in the north of Ghana,
Okay.
north of Tamale in Kadimenga, and in Francophone West Africa, and
Mm-hmm.
reading books like Aikwe Amas, The Healers, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned was so incredible. But as I tried to bring, the limited knowledge that I was able to glean from them into curating, I found that it couldn't be legible
Mm-hmm.
in a contemporary economy or institutions.
Okay.
So it lives in the space of life itself.
Okay.
And that's what I feel you doing here.
Okay.
I constantly tell you, oh, this is how you're like a curator. You're curating this, you're curating
Yeah.
that. It's not happening in a museum.
Yeah.
It's not happening in a gallery. But you are curating life itself, how people come together, um, and the consciousness, and even how space itself works, but also spiritually. For
Mm-hmm.
me, at least, I leave here differently than I come here, and that's a lot of what I try to do with art and curating.
Mm-hmm.
I ask myself not just what are we going to see or show or sell,
Mm-hmm.
but what is it going to do?
Yeah.
How is it going to transform us?
Yeah.
How is it going to grow me as a human and connect me to other humans or entities?
Yeah.
How is it falling into this greater picture that, if I can imagine, not like a man sitting in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
but like almost like a cosmic authorship, as if I'm living in a novel?
Yeah.
And what's the best way for this story to go that I play a part, and I also invite others or follow others to play parts as well?
Yeah.
How would that guide me to act as an artist or curator? And so these are some of the ways that me learning from
Mm-hmm.
indigenous and communal knowledge systems here helped me to crack open my
Okay.
perception of what curating or exhibitions or arts were,
Okay.
and see it in a much expanded context. It can happen anywhere, and you have the power to activate it whether or
Okay.
not you are invited.
Okay.
And that also helped me to heal myself
Yeah.
and take charge of my own story.
Mm-hmm.
I was so inspired by the artists and art communities that I came
Mm-hmm.
to encounter here and then also be part of co-forming.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what was inspiring for me was that we could create as we were going, because the infrastructure that already existed was relatively fluid and porous or
Yeah.
sometimes non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
And so we could create it ourselves, which is magical. That's amazing. It actually is in a way like
Mm-hmm.
divine,
Yeah.
because you are creating conditions for life itself.
Yeah.
But it's also a big struggle because you're constantly in crisis. The thing didn't exist already. You have
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to support it. And so this awareness of these expanded possibilities
Mm-hmm.
for curating,
Yeah.
and that you can create whether or not you have institutional validation
Mm-hmm.
or invitation, helped me
Yeah.
also heal myself through my relationship to how
Mm-hmm.
I was flowing in art.
Right. Okay. And I'm going to ask you this question, throwing back. Excuse me. If you don't mind, can you pass the scrambled eggs so
For sure.
I can start doing business with it. So you have gone through your own process, like we all do at some point. I feel like I'm going through it. I'm going through it, and it's helping shape my conversation and the way I relate to people who come through here, be it family, friends, guests, or whatever. And then I told you I had this question asked by, I wouldn't say angel, but something I felt like an
Mm-hmm.
angel. Like, how has your healing process been so far around your curating experience up to now that you've completed your PhD in that space? How has it been from when you got here, or even before you got here, to start this process?
Yeah, good question. It's been a lot of letting go
Mm-hmm.
of preconceptions and opening and
Okay.
open awareness
Mm-hmm.
and flowing, constantly finding new versions of myself or
Okay.
concepts that I had in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the unlearning had to follow other stages of unlearning.
Okay.
Because
The unlearning had to follow other stages
there,
of
there
unlearning.
were multiple, yeah,
That's deep.
yeah,
Break it down, please.
there were multiple stages of unlearning that kind
Mm-hmm.
of brought me back
Mm-hmm.
to kind of where I started, but I came back different. Almost like if you know the story of the alchemist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. But it's like the
Mm-hmm.
person goes on a journey in search of this treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through all these crazy, crazy adventures and crises and
Yeah.
encounters. And then they go back home, then it turns out the treasure was right where they were.
Okay. Okay.
So as a curator, I found myself, questioning, critiquing, resisting, refusing the
Mm-hmm.
standard white cube construct that guides most museums and galleries today,
Okay.
where you have artworks, mostly painting, sometimes sculpture, increasingly installation, digital
Mm-hmm.
art, video, social practice, other things as well. But traditionally, like painting or sculpture, like on the wall or on a
Mm-hmm.
plinth, nicely spaced out for you to receive it,
Mm-hmm.
having this like uh, singular message from the
Mm-hmm.
curator or museum
Mm-hmm.
as to what it is, what it means, what it does, how it fits into history, and everything is separated and nicely, neatly in its place, and it's
Yeah.
presented in such a way that you see is very expensive. It has a lot of value, almost
Yeah.
as if you are subservient to it. So there's a lot of power attached to how curating normally goes, and I was uncomfortable with those powers,
Okay.
especially coming into artist communities in Ghana
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how the arts was flowing through community, through life itself. It was very porous, it
Mm-hmm.
was collective, it was non singular, non linear, non fixed. It
Mm-hmm.
was so different than the way arts was presented in the kind of museums and galleries I grew up with
Yeah.
in New York City and America and Europe.
Yeah.
And so for a while, I wanted to totally rebel
Okay.
against that and be like, curating can be anything but that. It can
Yeah.
be like multiple artists and communities coming
Right.
together. It can be in life itself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you the story. You have to find the story for yourself.
Right.
It's not maybe in writing, but it's in sound or visuals or experimental media.
Yeah.
And even I'm not going to frame it for you. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to live it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But to work in a more public and institutional and sustainable way, it had
Mm-hmm.
to be brought back to
Okay.
some kind of container.
Okay.
So kind of unlearning the standard constructs I came
Mm-hmm.
from,
Mm-hmm.
going wild.
Mm-hmm.
Panji said it was like a first wave hip hop where it was so
Yeah.
rebellious.
Okay. Yeah.
You almost couldn't make sense of it.
Yeah.
But then coming back and bringing the different sides together so that you can still do the cube, but you're not limited to the cube. Both
Yeah.
within the cube, you can do the cube differently.
Yeah.
And you can also be outside the cube and just flow your own way,
Yeah.
whether you're doing arts or whether you're doing life
Mm-hmm.
itself. So some of the unlearning was about letting go of myself and opening out to what was surrounding me
Yeah.
or what was bigger than me. And then part of it was also about refinding the self and allowing some central direction,
Yeah.
allowing some presence, even allowing some, you could call it like domination, but more like direction or leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and coming back to those semi-dominant curatorial roles, but that are still porous and allow other things to infiltrate it too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's quite interesting. That experience and that journey. And I think going forward and with time, we'll see more of these things because it just hit me that most of our history is centered around spirituality. I won't say religion, it's centered around no. So you go to like the castles and like Menchia Palace and some of these places, the museums there, you can tell there's always something there. There's always something there. And without saying much, um, yesterday we had the opportunity to see some things. We held some stuff that you could tell there's so much behind it. And I think that we should tell more of such stories. And I think that's what you are doing and helping us do. So we definitely need more of these experiences, share these experiences so that others up and coming can and learn from it and also benefit from it and experience from it. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you, Miles.
Doctor. Doctor. So I really appreciate it. You've done well and keep at it. The thing that I also wanted to say is that don't limit yourself, and we've discussed this before that um, you don't go to certain spaces or you don't do certain things because of you coming from New York or something like that. But there's so many things here that some of us here ourselves we don't understand or we don't know. So if it takes someone coming from outside to spend so many years here to understudy the system and help make it better and educative, I think that's the whole idea. And they are not here by accident, like we're saying. So keep it up, keep building, keep teaching. Um, do you find yourself going to the classroom at some point?
In a way, I'm already doing it
Mm-hmm.
by mentoring
Mm-hmm.
a team of younger artists
Okay.
through my curating collective, Robin Beth Inc. But
Okay.
it's not happening in the classroom.
Robin
Robin Beth Inc.
Robin Beth Inc.
Yeah,
How do you?
RBI. Beth is my middle name, and it also means house in Hebrew.
Okay.
Or it's the second letter of the alphabet, is like the number 2 in the beginning.
Okay. So that's how we find you. Okay.
Robin Beth Inc.
Yeah. Great.
So where I'm teaching in the space of practice
Mm-hmm.
itself,
Okay.
but there's also, this is still in the works,
Mm-hmm.
but some curating workshops that people should stay tuned for
Okay.
next year
Okay. Share it with us.
that will be started on a regional level, but that should travel globally.
Okay. Okay. So I guess you tell us more when it's ready. Or you share with us. Do you have any information on it yet?
Well, when it's ready.
When it's ready. Okay. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Robin. It's great having you. It's always a pleasure having you. Yeah. I learn a lot when you are here, especially in the art space. The last time you were here with Ukanta, it was like, wow, you know. Unfortunately, Ukanta couldn't make it, but I hope to see him back soon as well, so we can kickstart whatever we want to do. Alrighty, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Miles.
That's it. I'll let it run, and then maybe I need something might